America's oldest living man turns 112 today. Richard Overton lives in East Austin, and that's where he's going to welcome his friends and family for a celebration later today.
All right, that's also where we find Chris Davis this morning. Should we whisper? We don't want to wake him.
Well, good morning, Sally and John. This is the house that Richard Overton built. He built it back in 1946. It's now, by the way, on Richard Overton Avenue. Now, to put all of this in perspective, that was the year that he turned 40. And now this porch, where he still spends a lot of his time, by the way, it's basically like a monument to his longevity. Check out the posters and the banner down here. These have just been put up since yesterday, now wishing him a happy 112th birthday.
I feel fine every day. No pain and no aches.
And we had a chance to talk to Mr. Overton yesterday. I probably don't even have to tell you he is still drinking whiskey and smoking those cigars. This year, family friends made some shirts with quotes from him on them. They'll be selling them today to raise money for his round-the-clock in-home care. One of his caretakers, Martin Wilford, was on the porch with him yesterday when I asked him, do you have any plans for 112?
Hope I live. I try to keep it living for next year.
I like that.
I want to be here too next year.
You want to be here again?
Year after next after that one.
And then after that, I like that.
I want to be there.
Yeah.
I don't want to die.
We've all been hurt at some point, even abandoned. Many of us have done the hurting ourselves. We get to the point where we don't trust anyone, nor do we feel worthy of being loved by anyone. Then there's that one person who just doesn't give up on loving you. Their love is unconditional. Their love stays long enough for you to heal. And then they promise to never leave. That's love you can count on. God's love.
Hello everybody, this is David Evans from Washington, D.C. I'm so happy for all of you watching our special program today. It is Hello America, our only television network that you can see here on the PIC TV network, PIC TV, Hello America. And I have a special guest. I can't wait to introduce you, the whole world, to right now. Our special guest today is Uncle Don, and I'm telling you, this man is a genius. He's a walking book. I'm telling you, if you ever want to get your credit together, if you ever want to put things in perspective, the man is here, the great man, Uncle Don is here today with us on the PIC TV network. Hey, Uncle Don, how you doing, man?
Hey, man, I'm just happy to be here, good brother.
Man.
Just excited as all. Anytime that we can talk and exchange and show respect toward each other, and more importantly, we have a common goal as brothers that we are to try to help people, and that's what this is about.
Yeah, I'm so happy, man. You coming on PIC TV network. We've been trying to line this up for a minute, and now we finally done it, man. God does everything in His own time. You know, let's get right into it. Tell the whole world, who is Uncle Don?
You know, who am I? Right now, you know, I am CEO of Love Equity Partners with an S. My company is listed on the Security Exchange Commission, waiting to go public. It has been pre-approved by the Security Exchange. You can go to sec.gov and look at my company, Love Equity Partners. You can go to formds.com and you can look at my company. But who am I as a person? I was raised in Los Angeles, had a very troubled youth, as a lot of brothers around different cities. Fell and jumped off the porch at probably 8 years old into gang activity. Was in juvenile halls from probably the 4th grade to the 11th grade. I did 1 year of high school. Went on to college after that. Wow. And graduated with my degrees and got matriculated, got a master's. Worked one of the first Black stockbrokers, investment bankers with E.F. Hutton. Worked selling gold in Santa Monica and did that. Worked at Santa Monica Bank. Probably for about 30 years in investment arena. I also dibbled and dabbled when I messed my credit up in college and got a free credit card and didn't pay the bill. And I didn't know when you got the credit card, you actually got to pay the bill. So my credit was like 480. Couldn't find nobody really to fix it. This was like 84. And then I became obsessed with credit. I'm trying to understand it. Went from city to city to city, meeting anybody I could that claimed to know about credit. So I made a lot of errors. I found out that in the world of business, just like in the streets, you're going to meet a lot of, and got to kiss a lot of frauds before you meet your queen or your prince charming. So that's the bottom line of who I am. I've been involved with youth sports probably since 1981. That was a huge obsession of mine. Been involved with food bank probably since 83. It really bothers me that we live in the greatest nation in this world, and yet we have people every day, believe it or not, brother, that don't eat food properly or are eating out of a trash can. So working with youth is who I am. Making sure people know where the pantry is who I am. But more importantly, trying to live my life with integrity. Although I've lived a very high life within my fraternity and different, organizations that people would look up, they don't realize that I myself have had many. I was homeless for a short period of time. I've been to prison, etc. And so my position is to never feel that I'm greater or that I'm better than someone. A lot of us are 2 or 3 paychecks away from being in a very bad situation. So my position is through credit, through humility, God changed my mindset. And Jeremiah 29:11, God has said to me and to you that he is going to prepare and give us hope and, more importantly, a better future. And I'm here to tell you that he does. Romans 12:2 speaks on the fact that Christ said that don't be a slave of the customs of this world that's going on today. Moreover, allow your mindset to be changed. And when you start talking about change and going into that next level from that caterpillar to a butterfly is very, very scary. And I ended with this part by saying we have to be a doer, D-O-E-R-A, a doer. And what is that? We have to delegate, find out in our life what things can we delegate. We have to outsource, and some things you can't do it all. It might be marketing, it might be mail things, whatever it is. You have to eliminate. Remember, delegate, I'm spelling D-O-E-R-A. You got to delegate things. You have to outsource things. You have to eliminate some things. Some things in our life, we got to find out what your poison is, my brother. It might be drinking 12 cups of coffee. Let's get that down to 2 cups. Different people have different addictions. Once you can police yourself, David, and find out what your addiction is and eliminate it, you've got to replace it. Replace it with some sort of healthy habits, riding a bike, join a bicycle club, join a gym, join Toastmaster, etc. And then we want to automate. So when you delegate something, you outsource it, you eliminate, you replace, and you automate. This is your way of moving to the next level. And I know that the next level is scary. Dating somebody new, that's scary. Going from 8th grade to high school, that could be scary. From high school to college, that could be scary. Riding a bike when you're 4 years old, that could be scary. But your biggest breakthroughs, David, come when we push through that scary moment, and that's called change. Amen. And the next level is always on the other side of a challenge or obstacle. And a lot of us, that's why Les Brown quotes, the wealthiest place on the planet is the cemetery, because that's where all the businesses that will never be created, that's where all the Big Mama's sweet potato pie recipe is in the grave. Nobody wrote it down. So all of these great ideas go to the cemetery because people they're afraid, they're scary. We as a people are not documenting things down. And at the end of the day, we're afraid of change. So just like that caterpillar goes to be a butterfly, you never see a butterfly flying over the caterpillar saying, Uncle Don, when you going to get your wings? When you going to change? You're a new creature now. And that's why the Bible talks about we used to be alcoholics. We used to be these type of things, but now we're a new creature. And the mindset is what has to be changed. Until we change the mindset, your mom and daddy can't change it. The judge can't change it. The parole officer, the drug counselor, you yourself have to change your mindset. So that'd be my response on Who is Uncle Don. I'm trying to assist people to change their mindset, give them encouragement, and like the work that you're doing to expose the good thing in the media, because one thing we never see is people like us on the media that are doing positive things in the world. We mainly just see negativity. So I'm just happy to be a part of a brother that knows that when we can tell our own story to our own children, this is what's going to motivate them. They need to see a brother like you that got his own TV station wearing a suit and tie. And everybody is not like Big Tyrone, Big Pookie selling dope and crystal meth. There are other ways to feed our families to where we can leave our legacy and be proud. It's not about the year we were born. It's not about the year we die. It's about the dash. That's the only thing that people care about.
Wow, Uncle Don, thank you, man. This is why I got to have you on today. I want to let our audience know how much I respect you and brought you on today, because you're a genius in my book. And for what you've been through, man, and who you are today, it's amazing. But from California, I want to ask you a couple of things. When you look at these pictures on Skid Row, Doc, and then this is also Washington, D.C. When I look at these pictures, Uncle Don, and again, I never been on Skid Row. I'm not ashamed to say I didn't even know that it was this bad on Skid Row. But I want you to talk a little bit about this, Uncle Don, and how we have so much but give so little back.
Yeah. And I'm glad you're bringing that to people's attention, but it's not just Los Angeles, it's Skid Rows in Atlanta, in Omaha. And what this shows is that our society, although we're the greatest nation, you can almost go back and look at old Martin Luther King footage or Malcolm X. Unfortunately, the sad news is that America has a lot of wrongs in her. And when you look at people living on the street like that, in a tent, in a cardboard box, it shows that we in America have chose stocks and profit and over taking care of our own fellow citizen in this country. You can define and learn a lot from a nation on how they treat their homeless, how they treat their elderly, how they treat their sickness. There are some countries where medical is free. Why can't in America medical be free with all the money that is being made in this great country? So when I look at Skid Row, it's the ugly part of America that knowing it's that uncle that's an alcoholic, that uncle that molests children. Nobody wants to discuss that, but it's a very sad fact, and it's not just Los Angeles. It's almost every major city, because our world and our government has decided to shift that money in the budget over to military. It has decided to shift that money over to stocks and greed. And what they're doing is ending the social programs such as the food stamps and trying to help people get a job, park and recreation, all these things. In fact, the wealthy people today, it's not about color. I said the wealthy people. So you got black people. They're more concerned with profit than they are concerned about removing these people. I remember I almost lost my job at a famous hamburger stand when I was a kid. And I was told by my boss to throw those hamburgers in the trash.
Wow.
But I knew it was 3 or 4 guys that I didn't consider hobos, because when I went outside and had to clean the lot, I would speak to them and they would speak to me. And I know that they haven't ate all day. So I asked my boss, is it cool that I take these 3 burgers because we closing at midnight. It's 11:58, and you're telling me to throw these things in the trash. Wouldn't it be better to give these burgers to them 2 guys in the parking lot that don't create no problems, but they don't have no job? And he politely told me no, and I would lose my job, and they must be destroyed. So, and then took them to the trash. So the next day I said to the guys that were, homeless, I'm going to do what my boss told me to do. And I'm going to throw these burgers in the trash at night, but I'm going to set them in a clean, separate trash can by themselves, which means there's nothing wrong with them. You know what I mean? I'm just setting the burger in there because that's what he told me to do. And I have to be obedient. And I'm going to set them on top of the trash, which means now they could come over there, which they did, and got the burger out the trash. It was about 9 burgers with French fries. I don't know why I may have snuck a soda in there because I was out of soda got in there, but it fell in there. But they had them a nice hot fry and a nice meal. And they knew when I worked, they knew they could hang around at 11:50. They was getting them a fresh burger, and I sometimes do a fillet of fish because I know the rule. When I start cooking late at night, if the people didn't eat it, we had to throw it in the trash. They wouldn't even let me have one, and I worked there. So this was the policy. But then later, as I got older, I saw that the policy was if they ate the food and got sick, they could sue. So the legal system in our country has prevented a lot of companies that want to help the homeless. They get punished for helping them. And that's where the smarter people than me that make these laws in Congress needs to change these laws so that the Burger Kings, the McDonald's, the Wendy's of the world are not being punished if they have a manager with a good heart that is a person of God that want to help the people. He don't lose his job. And that's all in the bureaucracy, what they want to call it. We have to change. And the days of get a good job, buy a single family home, get a college degree, save for retirement, start a business, and get your credit score as high as you can. That's the 1970 old way of thinking. That no longer is going to work in our society. So we have to change it. That's who I am. There are certain things you can do to get rich fast today. 1, gamble. You hit the pick 6 lottery, you're rich. Number 2, marriage. I marry Mary J. Blige without a prenup. I'm rich. 3rd way is inheritance. An uncle that I don't know of lives somewhere, leave me a lot of money. That's the fastest way to get rich, but I found a better way. And the first way is knowing the difference between a liability and an asset. Most of us don't understand that. I love the way Rich Dad, Poor Dad defines it. If you own a house, a lot of people believe, David, that they have an asset. It's not true. If you own a house and you got a $1,700 note, that's a liability, because the definition of what is an asset and a liability, an asset puts money in your pocket. A liability takes money out of your pocket. A lot of people in the NBA, NFL, and our rappers and entertainers don't know that. So they're confused by the difference between a liability and an asset. So if you have property, and I don't like single family homes. I prefer duplex, 3-plex, 4-plex, because now you have another person to help your responsibility. So that $3,000 note you owe the bank, when you charge $1,000, and you pay $1,000, you got 2 tenants helping you pay your mortgage. So that's where we want to put ourselves in a position where we're the owner of the plantation, not a worker. So that's the best way and the fastest way is real estate. Then you got to understand, this is a gem and a treat, how the IRS treats cash and barter. And that's huge, because once you can understand the difference between a liability and an asset, and you understand how the IRS treats cash and barter, you are now going to position yourself to become, in my position, wealthy and generational wealthy. And that's what this really is about. So at the end of the day, I have learned with me and my team that the fastest way for someone to become wealthy is my team take a high net worth company such as Love Equity Partners that is valued at $112 million today by Business Experian. You can Google it. And you take a low net worth individual like Uncle Don. And when you combine a high net worth company with a low net worth person, and you merge those two together, now the person automatically becomes more wealthier instantly. And me and my team can build multi-million-dollar companies in less than 15 months.
Wow.
So that's the skill set that we have learned. And that's what we're doing. So if you think of a poor person marrying a rich person, how long before the poor person is rich? Immediately, outside of a prenup. So that's what we're doing, is building high net worth companies and then partnering them with low net worth individuals. So at the end of the day, it's nothing ingenious about it at all. What it's about is I've taken time to study. I've taken time to understand the IRS code. I've understand the Universal Commercial Code Act. I've studied what charging orders is. I've studied this. If you go back and look at the Malcolm X movie, he looked and said, Spike Lee, it wasn't Spike Lee, the actor, Denzel, said, look up the word white. Now look at the word black. So I'll give you an example. What is a dark pool? I'm not talking about a swimming pool, but if you Google right now, what is a dark pool according to the bank, you will find that a dark pool defines, and the wealthy put theirs right in the open. When you look up what a dark pool is, it says in the dictionary that a dark pool allows banks, David, to secretly trade on the weekend when the stock market is closed and don't have to report it to the public. So that means I can go, hey, let's put the stock at 17, but we're gonna open it up at 28. So when we do that transaction and that agreement, that's why they call it a dark pool, because it's done what? In the dark. And then on Monday and Tuesday, when the stock market opened, the people buy it at 25. Look at the money we just made, over $11, $12 per stock. And that's legal. Martha Stewart went to jail for something we all would have went to jail for, which was what? You own a lot of money. I was with my frat brother who works there, and they say a lawsuit is coming in next month. You need to get out of it. So what do, David? You sell it. But you got that information through an illegal source, and therefore they put her butt in federal prison for 15 months or whatever she did. But at the end of the day, they allow the banks, who is they, the federal government, to do something such as a dark pool, where me and you did it, is called illegal trading, and we're going to get 10 to 15 years in prison. So again, the wealthy laws are different than for me and you. So what happens is we need to understand, you can't beat City Hall. You need to understand the loopholes, and you got to study. And once you understand and read, that's why you've heard for years people say, what? Put it in a book, because they know who wasn't going to read it. I've taken my time. So don't be mad at me and don't hate on me, because I've taken many, many hours missing out on dominoes, missing out on the strip club, missing out on a rap concert, missing out on chasing women. Why? Because I've sat down. I was in the library yesterday for 6 hours, and the man in Chicago shocked me. I said, how many books can you check out? David, how many books you think you can check out in a Chicago library? In LA, 7. How many books you get to check out in Chicago? Take a guess.
4.
50.
Whoa.
I said 50 books. And guess what? There was nobody in the library but me and 3 other people. I had the whole library in my hand. There's nobody studying. And they told me you can check out 50 books at one time. I said 50? 50? Wow. So it just goes to show you, nobody's reading. Nobody is studying. This information is there. And these children have a cell phone. That cell phone is like having 20,000 libraries right in your hand. And not only having it in your hand, you can get the answer in less than 4 seconds. Who is the 12th president? Mr. 8-year-old? I don't know. Don't say the word I don't know to me. You can step back and put in your Google, who's the 8th president? Boom, it's going to pop up. So there's no reason today for us to be dumb and illiterate when the information is right there at our fingertips.
Right there.
Right there at our fingertips. So the world is going automated now. All these dumb jobs are being replaced now by robots who don't complain, work 365 days a week, and they're able to, don't want no union and don't want anything. So now we have to position our children to get a job in science, in medical, The social jobs and the post office job and even the truck driving job will eventually be gone because they can get it automated and whatever. So what are our children going to do to feed our family? People are being grown right now for body parts. So at the end of the day, the wealthy is not waiting on no list for no kidney, Dave. They're not waiting. So at the end of the day, we have to get to our children because in my humble opinion, you have the schools that are here to do what? Control our children. You have religion that are here to control our women. Don't worry about getting rich. Don't worry about being an entrepreneur. When you die up in heaven, you're going to get 3 Lamborghinis. And then you have the penitentiaries that are here to control our men. So the school system does its job by teaching us to be employees only, not to be an independent thinker. And they only talk about black people, slaves, and then in the 60s. They don't talk about the first black man in America, this great country, did heart surgery. They don't talk about the black man invented the cell phone. They don't talk about the black man invented the traffic light. They don't talk about the black man invented the refrigerator. A lot of things that we use every day. So what happens is, as a black child growing up in the hood, the only thing you're trying to be is the late, great Kobe Bryant, LeBron James, or B.B. King, or Whitney Houston. That's the only way out. And then you got Big Meech, who when he come on, they're going to treat him like a celebrity. So you be a drug dealer, entertainer, or an athlete. There is nobody. Why aren't you on there? Why wouldn't these kids want to have their own TV program? Or why would you want to be an architect or anything like that? That's not being promoted by the media. That's why I love what you're doing, that you're giving the youth a new shot in the arm to say, hey, man, you can do all of these things. You're more than a ball dribbler. You're more than an athlete. And then when you look at the athlete, let me end it with this as I coach my kids. Say that word for me because I mess it up. What is it called when you're cerebral? Is that how you say that word? Cerebral?
Yeah, cerebral.
Watch this. Who has the ball most of the time on the basketball court? Which position? The point guard.
The guard,
so
right.
The point guard has the ball. Who has the ball most of the time in football? The quarterback. Who has the ball most of the time in baseball? The pitcher. Now watch this. The closer you are to the ball, oh, I'm preaching now. The closer you are to the ball, the more the game is cerebral. You got to think. See, the point guard got to know, does he pass it? Does he shoot it? Does he lob it? He got to think. The quarterback, he got to read the defense. Do I throw it? Do I do this? Do I run? The pitcher, do I throw the curveball? He do this to the catcher. Do I throw the fastball? It's thinking. Now, who's the furthest from the ball in baseball? The outfielder. Who's the furthest from the ball in football? A wide receiver. Who's the furthest from the ball in basketball? The center. So in basketball, he just got to throw it up to Shaq. He just got to catch it and dunk it. Nothing to think about. In baseball, got to run back like Willie Mays, Earl Strawberry, catch the ball and throw it in. Nothing to think about. In football, you got to be the wide receiver, Drew Pearson, run your butt down, jump up and catch it. It's nothing to think about. So the further you are from the ball in sports, the more the game is athletic. The closer you are to the ball in sports, it's more thinking involved. So when I coach youth sports, come gather, David, come Pete, come John, Michael, get over here, stop talking. Everybody come. Raise your hand if you get all A's. Don't nobody hand go. Raise your hand if you get a couple of A's and B's. Only 2 hands. That's my quarterback. Everybody else, because guess what? I don't care if he can't throw the ball but 5 feet. He can remember the plays. I can't have nobody being my quarterback, David. I'm burning my time out. Hey, Coach David. Okay, what did you say again? Play 2? You say hut on 3? He's not thinking. So this is what I'm trying to explain to you. That's why in sports in the 60s, 50s, you never saw a black quarterback. You never saw a black pitcher. You very rarely saw these positions because mainstream America said, he looks like you, David. He can't think. So we're going to put him in a dumb position. So I'm saying to you today, we have to be closer to the ball in business. We got to understand business credit. We got to understand personal credit. We need to live in corporate credit. We have to be thinkers. We cannot be further away from the bank. We can't be further away from understanding Fed rates. We have to understand these things. And to understand them, we got to dive into it, 10 toes. We got to discuss it at the breakfast table, the dinner table. We need to understand what the difference between a trust and a will. We have to understand where to buy real estate at, which is 60% on the dollar. We need to know about tax deeds, county assessor office. These are where the wealthy are buying their property from. We need to get our cars from auctions, not from the car lots, paying retail and premium. We got to stop buying Mercedes and luxury vehicles. We are 12% of America, but yet we own 5 times more Mercedes than any other culture. We want to look rich, but we don't want to be rich. So we have to change our mindset, good brother. We have to change our mindset.
Wow. Oh, man. That's why I have you on today, Uncle Don. It's just so much information I wanted to share with the audience today. Those who are watching right now, you're watching the special Pick TV Network Spotlight with Uncle Don, the walking genius, the walking library. This man is a credit. He helps so many people. And I respect you because you look like me. And you have a mind. What you say is right on time, you know. And when we come back, Uncle Don, I want you to tell the audience about what the younger version of Uncle Don would tell the older version. If you were a teenager again, what would you tell the older version? After this commercial, folks, don't touch that dial. You watch the Pick TV Network Spotlight. Hello, America. We'll be right back after this.
It's a beautiful fall evening. The sun is setting. The dog finally stopped barking. Life is good. But inside, there's trouble brewing, and Emma has no idea. Although she feels fine, like her father, Emma is one of the 67 million adults in the U.S. with high blood pressure or hypertension. Just like her radiator that's on the fritz, Emma's heart is working overtime to get the job done. Let's have a look. The heart is the pump in our bodies, delivering blood to the entire system through a set of pipes, or blood vessels of all sizes. Smoking, high cholesterol, diabetes, obesity, physical inactivity, family history, and increased age all contribute to these blood vessels, or our pipes, becoming less elastic. The more blood our heart has to pump through stiff, narrowing arteries, the higher our blood pressure. When the force of the blood against our artery walls is too high, life-threatening health problems can result. Problems like kidney disease, heart disease, stroke, even heart attack. Can Emma get her pressure down before it's too late?
Again, we're back again on the Pick TV Network Spotlight with Uncle Don. Those who are watching right now, I want to thank you for your time. And don't forget to support the Pick TV Network as we grow. Scan that QR code. Get your phone right now. Scan the QR code. When you scan that QR code, you'll see the Pick TV Network information. So you can come on our network and be a part of our TV shows and programs. Uncle Don is back with me in the studio. Uncle Don, So much information you're sharing to our world, and we want everybody to watch the repeats on Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, Twitch, Twitter, all over. We're going to play this at least for 30 days. And I want you to tell us, Uncle Don, what would the younger version of you, the teenage version, tell the older version of you today?
Great question. You know, the problem with the younger Uncle Don, and that's why I can relate with the kids today, is, you know, you're young, you kind of think you know it all. You know, a lot of my friends didn't have what I had, which was a 2-parent home, mother and a father. So the problem is they don't have people like yourself that can mentor them. So when you only have the street guy there, you know, and you only get respect and get the pretty girls by being that star basketball player, football player, or hustler in the neighborhood, you don't see a lot of success around us. So there's a lot of traps. And we're the only culture on in this great country. We're the young lions, but there are no strong male lions. And the young lion and the lions in the jungle are never going to drop his cubs off with the hyenas or the kangaroos and say, babysit, not only babysit, but teach my lion how to be a lion. How a kangaroo going to teach a lion to be a lion? How is a hyena, the enemy, going to teach a lion? And that's not going to happen. So what happens is we need mentors. So my question would be to the older ones, if you're not going to come back in the neighborhood and show us how to be successful, it's just lip service. The other thing is they need jobs. You don't want me to work selling drugs. You don't want me to snatch purses. You don't want me to do home invasion. I'm sitting here with no hope. There's no jobs here. There's nothing here. So the only work is working for Big Willie, who's selling weed or some sort of dope. So it's nothing but lip service, you know. And then the last thing is we have to ask the question and be willing to love ourselves. You know, if I'm from Los Angeles and I meet somebody in another city, I don't know you. So what that means is I don't have no problem killing you. Nipsey Hussle has a a TikTok video I saw. And it said when he was out looking for the enemy, watch this, David, he was looking for a man that looked like him. So he would be in an enemy neighborhood and he would see an Asian or a Mexican or something. He knew that wasn't his enemy. Then he would see a brother, but he had a backpack on walking. So he knew that guy was what? A student. That wasn't his enemy. Then he looked and, slow down. He saw a guy with swag, with jeans, with a Pro Club t-shirt, with a hat. But this hat, sports hat, had a different logo because that, you know, meant he was promoting his game. But at the end of it, what he said was, I was out searching to bring harm, and I was searching for myself. Ooh, did you catch that? He's looking to bring harm to a guy. So when he go in another neighborhood, he had to find out who his enemy gangbanger was, and he identified who he was searching for was a man who looked exactly like himself. He was searching to kill himself. And that's what's going on. We have been taught not to love ourselves, not to have pride with ourselves. Even the White House. When you think of the Washington Redskins, it offended people because it was the Redskins. Mm-hmm. Oh, but nobody's offended that the nation's capital, who represents the melting pot of this great country, is black people, white people, yellow people, red people, you name it. So we got a box of crayons, which makes up this wonderful country, the greatest country in the world, called America. But yet the capital of strength, our power, our mothership, where the president lives, out of all the crayons, we call it the White House. Why isn't it the Rainbow House? So what happens is we're sending a message, a symbolic message to the 8-year-old, 7-year-old girl who's white. I'm born to be the leader. And to the 7 and 8-year-old black and brown and yellow boy. I'm born to be a worker and a follower. So what has happened is, why, if we can change the Washington Redskins name, because apparently that offended some people, why aren't we changing the mindset of our country to say, hey, man, we all one big melting pot? So guess what? Our capital is called the rainbow color. I mean, I'm just asking that question to the people that's viewing. I'm not promoting hate. And that's a problem in this country. When you're a black person like me, of course I'm pro-black. Duh, I'm black. I love all of my brothers and humans. But at the same time, we're the only people in America that's being hunted for a traffic stop and being murdered. When is the last time you saw a Hispanic, an Alaskan, an Eskimo, a Jew, a German, an Italian, a Roman, a Polish, all Americans, all my brothers being killed by law enforcement? Please pull it up. You got Google. The only person that's being murdered in this country are black boys that look like me and black men. Why? Because they know that we are not united. So it's because of work like you, David, that will bring us to be united, to bring down these symbolic walls, to bring down this LA versus New York, to bring down this Muslim versus Christian. We all have, as Malcolm X say, the same challenges in this great country. So we have to come together. And then lastly, what did the other cultures do? They didn't win by fight or by a bazooka or something. What did they do? They got money. They have wealth. And they took their wealth and did what? Bought them and got them, stood behind a local politician, a councilman, a congressman, and that particular person goes in and to lobby to get their street hole fixed, to get the lead out the paint, to fight against corrupt police enforcement. And then last tip is, when you want to really stop all these brothers being murdered by police, as a father, get your children some life insurance. I don't care if it's the cheap term life. When the police kill your son, the insurance company is going to have to cut a check anywhere from $500,000 to a couple of million, depending on your policy. I promise you, if all black boys 10 years old and up have insurance policies, the insurance lobbyist is going to go down to Congress and say, hey, man, we got to stop this. We're writing way too many checks. So it ain't got to be me and you, David, saying it. The insurance lobbyists, who are very strong in this country, they're not going to want to keep paying out no checks. So always hit them with the money. Always hit them with the money. So the fastest way to get this stuff stopped is to get some insurance policy. Law enforcement kill them. They're going to have to cut a check. And I promise you, you're going to have Geico, State Farm, all these insurance companies is going to be down there in Washington, D.C. saying, hey, man, we got to stop this. We got to stop this. Hit them where it hurt. Don't beg. Hit them with money. And lastly, we're the only culture in the world where me and you can open up a restaurant and our own people won't support it. But another person can come in our community, I don't care what it is, open up a dry cleaners to a taco stand to a whatever, and people, but watch this, they take our money, they don't donate to the football program, they don't donate to coding, they don't donate to any cheerleading program, anything to help our youth or our elderly, and they take that money back to their zip code. Yeah. And we, on the other hand, cannot go to their, you think me and you can go to their community and open up a daycare? They're not bringing those kids over there. So at the end of the day, Malcolm X has a speech he said called The Ballot versus the Bullet. I think it was in the mid-60s. It's sad. If you watch it, The Ballot versus the Bullet, he could have said it last night. Nothing has changed. We're the only culture that allow other people to come in our community, open up a business, and then take the money back. Don't give us anything. So the answer to everything is we have to learn history. We need to study from our errors. We have to respect our elderly. We have to take care and protect our women and children. We need to be in a position to educate them. We're the only people that don't run our own school. So when you, like the lion example, the lion does not drop his cub off with the kangaroos. You have to teach our own children. We have to teach and protect our elderly, and the black church is gone. They have to come back and stop trying to make a mega church and start giving back to the community and being a real pastor, not a preacher, not a hype man, but actually donating in the community, or they need to leave because they're doing nothing more than just take. So at the end of the day, we need to learn what I like. Credit is going to get us money. And at the end of the day, businesses will allow us to get in a position where we can get a politician, because we got to quit voting for Biden and Obama and all these people. At the end of the day, after we give them our vote, then we come in and beg and say, hey, man, can you help us with that? No, you find out what they're going to help you with first. Then you negotiate on which candidate you want to go with. You have to do that negotiation in the upfront before you give them their vote. We giving them the vote, and then we're begging. No other culture does that. So at the end of the day, the last thing is we got to stop looking at the presidential race as if that's the only race. The president can't do anything but run the laws. The power is voting the Congress because they're the ones who make the laws. We got it backwards. The president is just he just goes by the laws on the books. We got to start voting for the Congress and for the local people. That's where you want to get active because they're the one that's making changes. Again, my name is Uncle Don. I don't have all the answers. My goal in life is to understand the question. But at the end of the day, I do know this. They did a survey called the Dartnell Study, and they gave Black girls black dolls. The girls took the dolls and threw it on the ground and said, what? They're ugly, and started crying. They then gave them white dolls. The girls were happy and stopped crying. The sad news is that study hasn't changed too much today. Our women are trying to get themselves a European look. If a little boy looked like me and you and go to school and got hair that's thick and coarse, is nappy tappy and is ugly hair. We don't love ourselves. We're trying to be something we're not. So we have to embrace our blackness. We have to embrace who we are and understand our history. And when we see a stranger, we need to do like the other cultures. David, what are you doing? Oh, I'm a dentist. You know, my daughter has a loose tooth. And what do you do? Oh, I own a photo shop. Well, you know, I need some pictures. They start to network. Not what I don't know you, David, which means since I don't know you, I want to bring harm to your doorstep, and I don't mind killing you. At the end of the day, we have to have love for each other. And when we have love for each other, guess what? The other cultures will start having love for us. Now we're united, and law enforcement won't be picking us apart. And until we understand the banking game and understand the rules, we are playing basketball rules with football. You have to understand the rules of the game if you want to win. And that's what we got to do with banking. We understand EBT. We understand check cashing. We understand auto loans, all the low end stuff. We understand pimping. We understand selling drugs. Now we got to up our game and start understanding a car wash. We got to understand a laundromat. We got to understand the different facets of real estate. We have to move like these other cultures, and are we going to continue to get left behind, especially with the automation coming and the robots is here. It's no longer coming. So a lot of these dumb jobs are going to be gone. So what are our future? What is Black people and brown people in this country? Because they don't need laborers no more. The robots are here. So they don't need us anymore. So we have to continue to make ourselves relevant. We got to continue to make ourselves valuable. And our number one muscle is this right here, that brain. Yeah. We teach the world style. We teach the world all these inventions. So we have to remind ourselves who we are. And that's why I like that cartoon, The Lion King. If you saw that cartoon, what did he tell him in that water when he over there playing with these animals and eating caterpillars and vegetables and all that? That reflection said, you have forgotten who you are. That's what we have to do. We got to remind ourselves who we are. That's my position on everything. I love that you allow me to speak. I hope that one thing I said might motivate somebody to be able not to go to college, not to get a job, but to be able to put themselves in a position where they can control passive income. So now they're making money as they do this, as they sleep, mailbox money. So they're not trading time for money. And now they can teach their child how to do that. And all of this is from understanding the basics of personal credit and business credit. It takes you off the plantation and allows you to be in a master position so that now you can control your own destiny for you, your wife, your loved ones, your first cousins, your uncle. But remember, everybody ain't family. They're relatives, but they ain't got to be family. You create your own family. I end that with David. You are my brother, part of my family.
Oh, man. Thank you, Uncle Don. This is a special presentation, folks. This is like an all-you-can-eat buffet because Uncle Don has so much wisdom. And we're going to put together a show for him on Pick TV Network, Pick TV Network Spotlight, Wisdom with Uncle Don. Uncle Don, before we leave, I want you to give some shouts out to some people, your team, those who are going to be watching, some of your family members. We got a lot of people watching, and a lot of people just, need this information. I need it. We need it. We need the wisdom that you have. We can tell you read a lot of books. We can tell that you're a man who's concerned about humanity. I want to thank you because, when you speak, you're like E.F. Hutton. Everybody just needs to listen for a minute. I'm telling you, Uncle Don, it's very, very important for us to know that we have a king in here who's full of knowledge. You help so many people with their credit. Next time we come on, we're going to talk about the credit scores and how important it is to keep your credit in a position so that if you need something, it's there. We're going to talk about the gentrification, what's going on in our communities, who's coming in and who's going out, where are we going to be in the next 10 years. There's some more things I want to talk to you about as far as transitions. A lot of people are transitioning from, I'm 60 years old. Where am I going to be in the next 10 years? What's going to be happening to the next elderly? What's going to be happening to the next youth coming in? You ain't going to always have that 36, 24, 36. You're not going to always look like the thing, something out of a magazine. Age is going to come in, So we want to talk about these things, Uncle Don. I know you're busy. I want to thank you. Please promise me you're going to come back on Pick TV Network. And how did you like our network? This is your first time on. How you like the commercials? How you like the setup? How you like Pick TV?
Yeah, first of all, I love it. I'm excited. I hope we can do it a series where I have a little permanent spot where we can come in and bring other people in and just call it Uncle Don's Neighborhood. We can sit there and drop some gems. I love this. As far as my team, I got to give a shout out to Joanne, my personal assistant, my right-hand coach, Chiefs Moore, Kevin Foster, my IT guy. Hopefully I can bring them on. They're all experts in their own right. Jennifer is helping me a lot. Karen, I got so many people that Manya, I have to give a shout out to that assist me as far as moving forward. Coach Ward, she's coaching for female wrestling. So all of these people work behind the scenes to assist me in my university. My son, Adarius, Armand, my daughter, Unique, all these people help me out in so many ways and capacity. As far as us coming together, this is what I'm talking about, networking. So you can expose me. I'm definitely not a genius or a guru. I am a student of the game. I believe, as the great Zig Ziglar said, the motivational speaker, men are like fruit. If you are like a banana and you're green, guess what? You stay growing. You stay evolving. Once you become ripe, now you know it all. The next thing is to rotten. So I'm never a guru. That person is right. They want status. I am a student of the game, always staying like a green banana, always involving, always reading, always studying. The average person reads about, to be an expert, to go on any kind of show, Ellen or something like this, or your show, and be an expert in orca killer whales. You only have to read 7 books because the average person don't read but 1 book. I've read probably over 2,000 books on business. So I can talk about this for, 9 years before I get tired, nonstop, just dropping gem after gem because it's in my head. Also, I don't teach from theory, meaning that I hope it works out. A lot of these coaches and stuff nowadays with social media, it'd be like me trying to tell you how to make a lasagna. I've never made a lasagna, but I got a cookbook here that I could read, and you'd be like saying, man, Uncle Don, I didn't know you was a chef. because I'm teaching it from theory. I teach from empirical, which means I teach stuff that I've done. That's why I let people know. You can Google me. Most people don't want to be Googled and researched. I let people know. Go to Love Equity Partners, pull it up at Form DS or SEC.gov. You can see why I am qualified to discuss with you about personal and business and corporate credit. Me and my team, my mentor, John, and all of us, we have came together and put together something that no one else has done. We know how to build multi-million-dollar companies and merge them with a low net worth individual. And when you merge and marry that, guess what that low net worth individual did? It was done with Toyota. You might have heard of a company called Toyota. They came out with a luxury line called what? Tesla. And Tesla came out as a baby, already worth millions. Why? Because it was able to piggyback on Toyota's A+ credit. So right off the rip, it came out. That's the same thing that we're doing. We haven't invented it. It's just that as people, black and brown, we haven't studied the models of success that's already been done for us in front of our eyes. So at the end of the day, my thing is trying to help the youth. Is sometimes hard to work with people our age, Dave, because they get to the point where, well, I've been doing this for 21 years. You have been doing it for 21 years, sir, ma'am. But guess what? You've been perfecting an era for 21 years. And then I got frat brothers that golf. Oh, they look like a broke Tiger Woods. They got on the red shirt with the black swipe. They look good. Their golf shoes cost $400. They got clubs that cost $1,500. But guess what, David? Guess how much money they spent on golf lessons? Right. Zero. So they're out there doing what? Perfecting an era. They're not spending any money on instructions. And that's how a lot of us are in business. Serena Williams, at the top of her game, she had 2 separate tennis coaches. Wow. Barry White, been singing since I don't know how long. Aretha Franklin, they both had vocal coaches. LeBron James has a shooting coach. So how are you in business without a coach? So at the end of the day, I have 19 mentors. So at the end of the day, I can call 19 different people that are experts in their different field and jargon. So this is what I'm saying. We want to get mentors and people like yourself that can teach us and then get us to the masses. Russell Simmons says when he had Def Comedy Jam, he said, I don't make people funny. All I do is take a funny person in Portland and put him on a stage, and then everybody get to meet who Chris Tucker is, or everybody get to meet who Martin Lawrence is. They were funny already. They just didn't have a national stage. So I love what you're doing. You're allowing there's a lot of Uncle Dons in the community. I'm not the only one that are successful and doing better work. I love that you have a platform because we're not going to be able to get on 60 Minutes. So here's a way that we can come and be able to talk to other people on a platform. So we have to support this type of television, this type of platform, so that we can educate other people. So this is the first thing we have to do is when you have somebody that looks like us, that's in the community, that's doing the work, we have to promote that and endorse it.
Man, I love you, Uncle Don. This is so awesome, world. You're watching a special presentation. This is the first show with Uncle Don. This is not the last. We're going to do a series. We have to have him come back with his team. We're going to come back and do this thing because when we have somebody like Uncle Don that wants to help Pick TV Network with our programming and shows, it helps all of us. And one of our goals with Pick TV Network is to have educational programs, information programs. And when you come back, we're going to talk about why is it that a lot of black TV shows, I grew up watching The Jeffersons. We're going to talk about that. We grew up watching Good Times. We're going to talk about that. I grew up watching Sanford and Son. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the shows at that time. But today we have you. Uncle Don, a man of wisdom, a man of stature, a man who has knowledge. The books that you're talking about, man, it's just amazing. And the mentors. That means we have an African American on television that can give us top quality information. This is a porterhouse steak. This is the top of the line steak right there that you're giving away for us today, Uncle Don. And I would
say, in ending, I have a university. It meets on the last Tuesday of every month, $199 a month. And I am teaching and dropping gems on every aspects of business. So think of yourself going to a top business school. It's taught with humor, a little bit of ebonics, and a lot of fun. But at the end of the day, when that class is over, you're going to understand. And more importantly, you're going to know how to implement and apply, whether or not you want to own a business or you have a business. Most businesses fail because they fail to plan. They go out, 9 out of 10 businesses go out of business. So what I'm teaching is, we call it scalure. Most businesses plan the scale, so they fail. So we call it scalure. So what I'm trying to do is have these people understand business, answer any questions. I ain't ducking and dodging no question, giving them real answers, not the political bank answer, understanding the why, because 2 + 2 is 4. But the problem is on the test, what if the question is 2 + 3? Now you can't pass. So that's the problem when people listening to me or something like that, they're memorizing answers. Remember, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I. But then when you ask the child, what's after E? They got to sing the whole thing again. They don't really know the alphabets. They memorize it. So people are memorizing answers. But here's the problem. In 2 years, the tax laws changes, the business code changed. So what I taught you 2 years ago is not applicable today. There is a change. So you have to constantly keep your brain abreast to what's going on in the business world, because business changes just like an iPhone model will change, just like a car will change. So at the end of the day, we cannot be relying on information and data that we learned 7 years ago, trying to apply that old dinosaur information today.
Uncle Don, you got it, man. I can't wait till you come back on, and we're gonna chop it up some more and let the world see what we have to offer to those who are watching, man. Love you so much. Next time, Uncle Don on Pick TV Network. Later,
all right, good brother.
Hey, Uncle Don, before you go, who is this singing, man? Who is this singing? Let me turn it up some.
Brother. 25, it's going to be a black male in a white t-shirt. There's far too many of you die.
Sound like the great Marvin Gaye.
There you go. You already know, man. Hey,
yeah. That's real music right there.
Guess Your Best.
That's real music.
I got a TV show called Guess Your Best. You got to come on that too.
Man, call me. I'm back. Whenever you call me, brother, I'm here.
You got to name. You got to name these artists, so you can't play with me.
Oh, I'm ready, man. I'm ready. Let's go.
Thanks, man. Love you, man.
All right. Bye-bye.
Thank you, man.
It's the biggest. You know what I'm talking about? She want the She want the
Hey, what's up, y'all? I am your host, Izumi, and we are reporting live from Los Angeles, California, and we are on Pick TV Network on Roku TV. And if you're not tuning in right now, you better tune in, because you do not want to miss the latest and hottest indie music videos, fashion, celebrity news, interviews, and so much more for you guys that we're going to bring a home for all indie artists and all genres of music. So we are the streets, we are the culture, and we are the content. Stay tuned, Roundtable TV.
Hey everybody, you just heard a wonderful show we had on the Pick TV Network. My name is David Evans. I want to thank you for your time. Don't forget to watch the repeats on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch. Uncle Don did a great job. His first time coming on, it was uncut, uncensored. It was real talk, up front and close and personal with Uncle Don. thank you for your time. Stay tuned for PIC TV Network, and don't forget to support the network. Get your cell phone, scan that QR code, send a donation, and help us to do more things. What we want to do is get our big studio so we can bring you in and beam in with some equipment that's out of this world. We're on the cutting edge doing some great things. We need everybody who's watching right now to support the PIC TV Network. If you want to do something, call 202-505-2837, 202-505-2837. Come on and support PIC TV. It's our network. It's for the people, with the people, by the people. My name is David Evans, your president of PIC TV Network. I'll see you on our next shows coming up real soon.
Hey, what's up, y'all? Sid the Entertainer. I want y'all to check out PIC TV Network. That's right, PIC TV Network. They got 60 free channels on Roku. This is dope. They also started the brand new Coaching World channel at $9.89. So, if you are a content provider, you are a young business with an opportunity to build a platform where you can have your own show, do some programming, check out PIC TV Network on Roku. They got over 60 free channels for you to check out and also grow a business. Go and see them now. See the content. See what they have to do. Learn something. Check them out. All right? PIC TV Network. That's what I'm talking about. I'll holler.
Yeah, folks, we are here. PIC TV Network is the place to be. We're going to get ready to move on to some other great things. So we want you to be a part of our shows, our programs, PIC TV Network. Thank you for your time. We'll see you next time on our shows on the PIC TV Network. Thank you.
Basketball camp is next weekend. You got amazing potential on the court, and I can help you get there.
That's not what I want, Dad. You never let me do what I want to do. You never let me just do me.
Hold up. Wrong floor. Bet Will Smith ain't got to deal with this.
Dad!
Down! What in the Matrix hell?
Welcome to the space.
Welcome, King James. I am the king of this domain. This is the Serververse.
What'd you do to my son? Where's Dom?
The only way you're getting your son back is if you and I play a little basketball. Pete, send this clown to the rejects.
Wait. What is this? Ah! I'm a cartoon?
Meh. What's up, Doc?
I need to assemble an elite team to help get my son back.
I know what you're looking for. A dream team. Lem, shoot the ball. Let's try that again, shall we?
King James. Welcome to the Space Jam. Introducing